How's it going, everyone? Next up, we have a running back out of East Carolina and Keaton Mitchell. Currently, he's ranked 162nd overall and is the 17th best running back in this year's draft. He is 5'9 and 184 pounds and is potentially one of the smallest running backs in this year's drafts. At the combine, he definitely did impress. He ran a 4.37 40-yard time with a 1.5 10-yard split. So the dude is very fast and pretty quick. And at the end of the day, he obtained a 6.17 RAS score and is projected to go into the 5th round, as this year's draft class at the running back position is very deep. Now, for his collegiate career, he ended up playing 3 years at East Carolina. His first year, he played 9 games, had 88 attempts for 443 yards and 2 touchdowns, while adding 11 receptions for 75 yards and a touchdown. Then his following year, he played 12 games, had 174 attempts, and ran for 1,132 rushing yards and 9 touchdowns, while also adding 22 receptions for 253 yards and a touchdown. Then in his final year, he also played 12 games on 201 attempts, had 1,452 yards, 14 touchdowns, while also adding 27 receptions for 252 yards and 1 touchdown. So his last year, he definitely had a very good year running the ball. So what's to like about him? Well, he's very fast. He did run a 4.37 40-yard time. He also plays with a very low pad level, and despite being at 5'9", even playing with a lower pad level makes it harder for him to get tackled, which is a good thing considering he's not the biggest running back. On tape, it does seem to show that he has some decent lateral movement, although I personally would like to see better lateral movement, especially of a running back of that size. And as a pass catcher, he's actually very good. He's got natural hands, and it looks like he's probably played receiver before. I didn't see that he did play receiver before, but it seems like he has a slight receiver background to him. And he's also able to run many of the routes that a lot of receivers can run. So he's got a good capability in the pass catching area, which is good to have for a running back. As for the cons, he's got a bit. So unfortunately, he's 5'9". He's one of the shortest running backs in this year's draft. He's not very big, and he won't be breaking any tackles, any physical tackles. Like, he can outrun a defender and get away from them, but if a player gets an arm on him, he's pretty much done. He's not going to be pushing the pile forward. He's not going to be breaking arm tackles. His bread and butter is juking, outrunning players, and that's about it. And unfortunately, due to his small frame and probably playing at his small frame for so long, he can sometimes try to kick it outside too much to try to outrun the linebacker and try to get to the edge. And that could be a problem, and it most likely will be a problem depending on the running scheme of a team, because he's going to have to run up the middle eventually, or else it's going to become too predictable, and they're going to be looking for that outside run, and then they're going to have a contain over there, and he's going to get shut down. And moving back to that pass catching ability, yes, he looks very natural in catching the ball, and he has pretty good hands. He did still have some slight issues with dropping the ball. He is a running back, so those are kind of be expected, but there were some focus catches to where he just shouldn't have dropped them. He also has a problem sometimes when going towards the flat. If he catches the ball, catching the ball, seeing it in and slightly turning, it could be a little bit faster. So he would have to work on that, because every little second matters, especially if you're the check down running back. It's best to catch the ball and instantly go upfield, and he does have a little bit of a lag in that sense. And then lastly, what's kind of pretty much a con for him is he's not going to be a 3-down back. He can probably run about 10 to 12 touches at his current frame, but he's going to have to bulk up, because I don't think he's going to be able to withstand getting hit constantly in the NFL if he's trying to be a workhorse back or obtaining 18 plus attempts every game at the NFL level. I feel like he needs to put on some mass in order to survive the NFL, because eventually his body will break down because of the beating. He's just not a big running back. And this is why he's kind of such a late round draft pick. He's got a lot to like. He's very fast. He's very athletic. He has decent vision. He needs to work on his frame, pretty much his mass, and also learning how to just deliver a physical hit instead of just taking a hit or avoiding contact. Because in the NFL, you can only avoid contact so long. So he's going to have to figure out how to use leverage. He's got a small frame. He can use some leverage to deliver a hit. But for a 5th round draft pick, if he's there in the Packers, well, we have a ton of picks, I would take a flyer on this guy. The guy does have high potential. He needs a little bit of development. And he could end up being something. We did have something with Aaron Jones and where we were just clamoring for him. He could develop from Aaron Jones and where he can learn how to be in between and run up the middle and also go on the outside. And also, we're going to need to find another running back. Like, this year is a draft where running back is in need. I don't know if Aaron Jones is going to come back next year. His contract's still pretty high, and he's getting up there in age. He took a solid for us and took a price cut and stayed with the Packers, which is awesome. I don't know if he's going to continue to do that. I don't know what type of year he could have this year, but it is something that we have to be on the lookout. Then there's also A.J. Dillon, who is a good running back towards the tail end of the career or towards the tail end of the season, but I feel like I'd expected more out of A.J. Dillon, especially considering how big he is. Like, A.J. Dillon is huge and yet struggles to move the pile sometimes, which is frustrating. So Keaton Mitchell, if you're available in the 5th round and Packers are up on the clock, I would take a flyer and I would draft him. He's got a lot of upside and I would take the chance on him because of his ceiling could be pretty high. But let me know what you think down in the comments. If you liked the video, hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and as always, good Pack, go.